Hi, it's Gwendolyn Lifestyle Sew. I've got a very interesting project for you today. I'm actually going to make a tablecloth, but it's tablecloths. Let me get away with the first of all, my appearance. I have been bitten by, so I've got no makeup on except some lipstick and a bit of eyebrow. I got bitten by a mosquito, and I don't know if I can show you this. See how the reaction I had to it. So I'm allergic to mosquitoes. I've always been had a very bad reaction when it's landed on my body, because I travelled in Singapore. I worked in Singapore and years ago when I was young. In France, I lived in France. Not a problem. Italy, I've travelled a lot, extensively really. But it's only been like the last 18 years. When I moved to Bexhill, I used to take my dog out in a little wood. And that's when I first got the first, if you like, big dose of a mosquito. But they bit me in both eyes. I didn't feel the bite at all. I just felt a little bump that came up. And then the day after the little bump came up, my eyes just went crazy. I couldn't see at all. So my best friend, took me to hospital, and my other friend, who was a male friend, he picked me up later on in the day, and I was given an injection of antihistamines and all of this, that and the other. And it's just a bad problem. But every now and again, whether I'm walking in the woods or not, and they get me, my eye just swells up. It's the same as anybody else being bitten. It's itchy and all the rest of it. But unfortunately, when it gets you in the eye, because the puffiness under there that I showed you, it's sort of sore, because it's water's under the skin and it's pushing it out, and so it's uncomfortable. So it feels like a bad sty. You know, it feels, if you've ever had a sty in your eye, it feels like a sty. And so I'll put no makeup on at all. I'm just putting cream on, and an extra thick cream, if you like, night cream under my eye and away from the actual bit where it actually zapped me, because that's sort of like, you can tell that was the entrance. And that, so I've done that. So hence why I look so pale. Probably to do with the fact I'm getting on, a bit. Anyway, now we've done that. So we're going to bake a tablecloth. Now, when you're making a tablecloth, it seems so easy. Oh, I'm just going to do that. And you can do. Oh, something's just popped up my screen. And you can do. But you need a lot of thought that goes into it. And even when you put a lot of thought into it, sometimes it doesn't work out as you want. For instance, when you buy fabric, when you buy fabric online, you cannot see the quality of that fabric at all, unless you get a sample. And I do suggest, if you spending a lot of money on a tablecloth fabric, well, it's not tablecloth fabric at all. It'll be curtain fabric or something, gorgeous something. So it's going to be expensive, or it can be just plain old cotton or a cheap cotton. It's whatever your budget is, and it's whatever you want that to be. So first of all, a few years ago, I made a tablecloth. It was like Hessian, and on the photograph online, it looked quite, the background looked a lot lighter, and it was hand painted. And when it came, the background was a lot darker than I expected, and I don't like really dark backgrounds because I suffer from SAD, which means I need a lot more light in the winter to keep me happy. So I thought, oh, I don't really like that. So I thought I'll wash it, and it might wash a bit of that. It was linen. It might wash a bit of the colour that's been put into it out. But it didn't wash the background. It actually washed the hand painting stuff, and it dulled it down. But anybody that came in would not have known that. Only I did, because I saw it originally. But it was still nice. It was still nice. I made a tablecloth, and it was still nice. And people say, oh, that's lovely. That's different. But that if I keep on doing that, it's because for some unknown reason I'm getting bits flash up on my screen. That's because it was lovely. It really was. And so I've kept the tablecloth, and well, I used it for quite a while, but then I thought, oh, I'll have to make another one. But you know, the really nice tablecloths cost a lot of money. Anyway, so back to the tablecloths. The fabric is really quite important. So as I said, I had that lovely tablecloth that I made that was very rustic, which I can keep for outside and doing that. But I've got a round table, so I might give it to somebody else actually that's got a long table, because I think it looks better, and I think it'll just be sitting there if I don't do that. So I think that's what I'll do with that tablecloth. But my new tablecloth, let me show you the fabric to the new tablecloth. Right, so it's nice and light, and this is embroidery. If I can bring it up, actually you'll see how raised it is. It's beautiful embroidery. Now these are big squirrels, paisley design really, and they're quite apart, quite a big part. This is linen fabric, and it's like a cream. I actually thought it was white, but it's not. It's a very light cream. So this is just the cut off bit, because you just measure your table and you decide what drop you want either end. Originally I put 10 inches, but that's going to be sewn up on either end. Actually, it's going to be sewn all the way around, because it's got a selvage all the way around. It's a sewn in selvage. Well, one's a selvage and the other side is sewn. So this obviously is the fray side, because you can't see it sewn, but there's a little stitch that runs round, and that means if you cut that, as soon as you cut the fabric on there, that'll fray. So you've got to turn it under, and it's as simple. I am also going to put an edging on it, a trim on it, I would say. Now, here's the deal. Because I got this fabric at half price to do this. Actually, I bought this fabric half price. I'm going to do a roller blind in my kitchen. I got that half price, and I also bought another piece that was 2 yards, and for that half price. So all of it came to about £54, which is ridiculous, UK sterling. So I thought to myself, well, I then bought all the different pieces of knickknacks that you need for the roller blind, because I didn't have any. So the dowels and the wood, and I've got a little jigsaw to cut it, so I don't bother with a saw. I've just got a little jigsaw that I can cut it into size, and the jigsaw was about £30, and I think every woman should have one. You don't have to ask anybody to do anything for you. You can just cut your wood yourself. And in actual fact, I made a razor bed doing it for the veg. So with the trimmings, it's really hard you can get trimmings, but some of them are like £78, this, that, and the other, and I have bought that at, well, actually £99 a metre. I've bought trimming, but sometimes it's more of a ribbon, a 4-inch ribbon that I've used for the Christmas tree and things like that. So because I do like the Christmas tree to have a big wide rhythm, and it's the one I've got is double, so you have a pattern on one, you have the pattern on one side and pattern on the other side, and it's wired. So I bought 2 yards of that, so it was nearly £200 just for the trim that goes around the Christmas tree, if you like, or the ribbon that goes round. But I didn't want to spend that much money. It's a tablecloth. It needs to go into the wash. So I need to buy something that's going to be nice. Now, you can get bejeweled ones and all the rest of it. And I actually didn't want a bejeweled one. I wanted something that would dangle down, but that would be washable, that you could actually wash. So I came to the conclusion, this is what I'm going to go with. So let me get the right size. Yeah, okay. So this is what I'm going to go with. Now these are just, it's just, again, little fabric. It's all fabric. So it's not, but it's still wiggly. And that's what I wanted. I wanted the movement. It has got a bit of stretch in it. The movement. Now, in the UK, if you were to buy trimmings, normally you would get it all one length. Or at least it should say it's all one length, or you can check to make sure if you're ordering 3 yards, you get 3 yards. Now I ordered 11 yards, but I had a look on, what's it called? Temu? I think that's what it's called, because they have lots and lots and lots. And most of the stuff comes from China or the Far East, somewhere along the line. So I thought, well, I'll order it from there. So, but I ordered 11 yards because they do it in yards, not meters. And it came 11 individual cuts. I thought, oh no, totally forgot. You know, I mean, in the UK, that would have been one thing. So I wanted it continuous to go around, and that didn't work out. But luckily enough for this pattern, I'll show you, sort of like, you see the little pattern there. But when you put it together, and I will pin it, you won't notice as you go around that that join is joined. So my task today is sewing up all these little things, every single one of them. And so I have one continuous line of this trim going round. And then the next task will be to go round the actual tablecloth. You can put the trim in so many different ways. You can put the trim, so this is where, find the top. So this is the top of the tablecloth. This is the trim. You could put the trim, sew the trim. How are you going to sew the trim? I can't. I was trying to find the end of the trim. You can put the trim where it goes, and it just flops down like that, basically. So your tablecloth is, I'll put that over my shoulder, maybe I can show you better. So I turn it up once, or you can turn it up twice, and put the trim over the top, and it'll go down. And a white trim, can you see? It'll go down. A white trim, this is cream and this is white. Now to get over that, to soften it out, you could turn your cloth over to whatever you want. So we turn our cloth over, and then you could put this a lot higher. So you have it at the bottom. I'm going to, actually I can't do it like that. I really can't. I'm going to have to put it down and just, you see? There you go. So it's at the bottom where the fold is, and although it's white, the cream is coming through, so it doesn't look harsh. And so I probably will do that. When you flipped it over, it would all be nice. But we'll show you. I think that was a complete shambles showing you like that. But we'll do that later on when I'm actually sewing. So the task is today to sew this. So we've got Benina sewing machines, most of us that's watching this video. If you haven't, you still can do this, obviously, with another sewing machine. The foots may vary, but I just use a general sewing